And so this week, your pick of the week is a new name, I think, on the board that we haven't really discussed, at least that I'm aware of, and that's InMode, INMD. And so let's take some of those wild option strategies that you kind of just outlined, and let's put it into play with a real life example. AJ's pick of the week, InMode. What are you seeing? What's the opportunity?
All right, so InMode, let's talk about the company first. It's true. I get a lot of my signals and such on the technicals, right? I really do, as technicals and price patterns. But before I even plan out a trade, right? I always like to do what I call a soft data analysis. And I teach my program participants, it's basically an overview of the fundamentals. And if it doesn't pass that, as well as maybe I have a little blueprint I give everybody, it's called the 10 tests to make sure something is a good sideways channeler. If it doesn't pass those screens, then you don't even plan out the trade. You don't even model it. You don't even get to the point of following the technicals. One of some of my traders' biggest errors is that they're just picking a stock based on its price or something like that, and they're not, evaluating it thoroughly ahead of time before just trying to trade option strategies on it. So we need to know a little bit about the company. So InMode is an Israeli company. And I wouldn't worry about the fact that that's the case, there's skirmishes going on in the Middle East. That's actually, it is something that you should take into account and, maybe hedge some things. But this company, I think, is set up in a way so that even if something happens and they have to leave Israel, they're still going to be a viable company. They actually focus on kind of aesthetical medical stuff, right? Specifically using radio technology to like help people eradicate fat in their body, right? And it actually is a strategy that works. It kind of kills fat cells without actually having to do things like liposuction and stuff like that. There's actually a huge demand in the world for this type of product, and InMode has been quietly making inroads in this. But as you can see by looking at my chart, and I'm going to switch around my chart a little bit. I'm going to go to my Fast MACD, which is one of my free indicators, the 619.3. I'm going to go ahead and ditch my indicators that I use to analyze the broad market so that we can kind of get an idea of some trade signals on InMode. InMode passes my litmus tests for being a good channel, a good underlying symbol to trade premium or sell premium on. And so you can see that we've got this signal from about 2 weeks ago that told us to get into some InMode and trade it, on the bullish side. So that signal has come and gone. Unless you already acted on InMode 2 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't want to trade this long, although, the earnings are solid. It wouldn't be a bad stock to own. But I guess I'm looking for the next top reversal, SIP. And I want to make sure, especially with some of the current uncertainty in the broad market based on this earnings season, based on the presidential election and all that. When I see the top reversal on InMode, I don't want to just use my usual confidence building indicators to say, hey, that top, reversal is solid. I want to validate this and verify this with some more conservative indicators because I really want to make sure that when it hits its top, that it then goes down a little bit. Okay. And so when it hits its top and I'm more than confident that it's going to go down a little bit, that's when I want to short some InMode, right? I want to short this stock. If I'm not with a margin account or if I want to use some leverage instead of shorting InMode in a cash account, instead I could buy some puts. And the puts that I think I wrote down, let me see if I can look them up. Here they are. The InMode June 2025 $25 strike price puts. Those particular options that I just outlaid for you would act as a great inverse stock replacement. So if you short the stock, great. You'll make money every time it goes down. If you buy this particular put, which is deep in the money and far out in time, it'll do the same thing. When the stock goes down in price, this put will go up in price. So whether you short the stock or you buy this put option at a top, a very confident top, you'll be set up very well to make money on the stock moving down. And so, and I love the underlying symbol price of InMode right now, SIP. So if I can get it so that it actually, heads on its way down, I'll let it go down. And I can, again, I'm being a little bit more conservative with my option trading strategies. Either I'm going to let it go all the way to a technical bottom, or if I want to be more conservative, I could put kind of a trailing, not a trailing stop, but a trailing conditional, indicator or alert in there, so that on the first hints of a reversal, based on, trailing stop philosophies rather than technical indicators telling me about the bottom. Or I could even just set a, profit target. I could say, once I'm below $16 or once I'm below $15.50, pull the trigger on selling the put premium and buying the call protection, right? Because when you put those two trades in place, it's called putting a collar in place. It's an adjustment we do to a directional position. It basically puts brackets on this thing and makes the position self-adjusting. You could weather earnings, you could weather all sorts of market, shocks that would, and this position would self-adjust on you. So I want to let some movement go in the down direction, but then I want to place those trades sooner than later to create that collar, create that, income generating collar on this trade. So that's kind of my thoughts on InMode. If you did a couple of weeks ago get into a long position on InMode, whether you bought a stock or you bought a back month deep in the money call, then this top would be a great time for you to sell your call premium, buy protective puts. And if you happen to have protective calls in place right now, this next top signal would be a great time for you to go ahead and liquidate those protective calls. So wherever you are in the trade, let's look for this really confident top signal and let's take action on InMode.